my desk. Okay, now, go. What did you just say regarding the dragon hide?
Dragons are renowned for having various properties that people attribute to magic. That's not necessarily the case. We already have identified tissues through various species throughout the world that have, well, unique properties. Some of them are incredibly elastic, so you can stretch them like rubber.
Are you? You're not talking about.
It's ridiculous.
You're talking about just materials.
Right.
Okay.
And there are other ones that are incredibly hard when they shouldn't be.
Okay.
Things like clamshells. In theory, should have the consistency of styrofoam, but it's rock hard.
Okay.
If you have a couple of unique proteins added to human skin, you could make it incredibly strong, flame resistant, and
That's interesting.
almost impenetrable.
So if she just alters a couple proteins in her character's DNA, she'll have dragon skin.
Well, the DNA codes for the proteins.
So she would have to insert the DNA codes for the proteins.
Right.
Insert the DNA codes for the proteins into the human and alter that. But that would be with the viral vector.
Viral vector.
Viral vector. You would use
Vector.
Vector. You would use the viral vector to insert these proteins
Right.
into the human DNA.
And basically, a vector is just something that is literally a transport.
Okay.
Viruses have a great habit of penetrating cells.
Okay. So what
That's
I have.
how they make you sick.
Okay. So what I have right now is, basically experimental therapy. All right. So there was a doctor in our area about 5 years ago who used experimental therapy to cure a cell anomaly that wasn't cancer. He was terminal. He had buildup toxins in the cells. The patient did. So the patient's cells were literally killing him. His doctor used experimental therapy here in Cortland, which literally changed the man's DNA. It killed him because the doctor could not control where to put the DNA. This was a real case here in Cortland. 100% precision is required to guide the virus exactly where you want it in the DNA strand to alter it to your liking. And you are suggesting that you use the viral vector, a viral vector, to implant two proteins, dragon proteins. And would they have to be dragon proteins?
Well, there's a couple of different options. It could be the proteins are there already and they're simply dormant.
Okay.
And
they would be in her character based on
Right.
what I'm hearing.
And, well, here's the thing. DNA, if I took the DNA out of one cell
Okay.
and I were to stretch it out into a string, it would be 6 feet long. And when you were thinking about how long each codon is, it's a group of 3.
Right.
You're talking 15 atoms long. So you have a string that is 6 feet long in our
Right.
way of seeing it. But you would have to be able to measure that string 15 atoms at a time.
Oh, I see.
That's the kind of precision you need.
Oh, okay.
You have to be able to insert it that precisely.
Okay,
And that's where we fail. We can't do it yet.
Okay.
So that's something she would have to overcome.
Okay.
Now, that's if you're inserting it. It is far easier to turn DNA on if it's already there.
Which is what I was proposing earlier in our conversation with activating the dormant genes.
But you would have to find people who still had the DNA. So they would have to genetically
which
test
she
them.
would, Schneider.
Right.
Right.
They would have to genetically test them, identify individuals who still had the DNA intact, because DNA tends to degrade, change, evolve over time. But if you could find people who had it and activate it,
Right.
you would have, well, some people wouldn't take too well to it and they would die.
Okay, so there's 2 questions then. Would this character know about it?
Would she
I
know
think-
if it was activated?
I think Cindy wants this to not be done with the character's knowledge.
You could, I could inject you with a viral vector and you would have no idea that you.
So she doesn't have to be conscious of it.
No.
Okay.
You could say, here's a booster shot for vitamins, and you wouldn't know.
So it could be a regular trip to the doctors. It could be, or we could just do the Joe versus the volcano technique.
Yes.
You're dying when he really wasn't. Also, he could play a
A ukulele?
Yes.
Okay. No, it's not hard at all. In fact, that's one of the things that makes viral vectors so dangerous. If you're working with them in a lab, is if you get exposed, you're not going to know.
So, what is the difference between a virus and a viral vector?
A virus, basically, oh wow, it's hard to describe. You can think of it as an octahedron, which is basically think of a three-dimensional hexagon.
Okay, good. I had the right image in my head. It's a D20.
Yes, it's a D20. Think of it as a D20.
That's a dice with 20 sides, Schneider.
There you go. And basically, it has like these little spider legs sticking out of one end. The dice part actually holds the virus's DNA itself.
Mm-hmm.
You create a vector when you rip out that DNA and put in whatever you want. So you literally use the framework, the exterior shell of the virus,
Okay.
without the virus's DNA. You use whatever you put in there.
Okay. Okay. So it wouldn't be in the now, regarding the location, where is DNA? I think that's what we need to know. Is it blood? Is it cells? Is it bone marrow?
It's in every cell you have.
Cell, which is also in blood.
Yes.
So it's everything. If I sneeze and
your
dandruff falls off, there's DNA.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Literally, if it's created by your body, with the exception of like poo.
So
And
you
e- and
cannot
e- and even
extract
with that-
DNA from
even
feces.
with that,
Yeah.
you still have cells that kind of slough off from your intestines as you digest food. So you still have your own DNA in there.
Now, things I did not want to know.
Yeah, I could tell you more, but you would just never eat again. Anyway,
So we shit out part of our intestines every time we shit.
yes.
That's.
No, that's actually a necessary cleaning process, and be glad you do it.
I don't. All right. Things I wish I didn't know. Okay. Are we done then? I think we got everything covered.
I don't know. You tell
I
me.
don't know. Well, I'm going to
whatever.
send this on to her, and if there's more questions, and I'm sure there will be, then we'll just do this again because this is fun. Okay, Cindy. Bye.